GM, we are live, and I was having some weird audio issues. So I'm hoping I'm not glitchy here. I don't know what's going on. If I don't sound good, let me know. Let me know because I don't know what was going on there. I did the intro and it was cutting in and out. So now I'm afraid that I'm having something going wrong here. But if I do sound okay, let me know. We're on early. This is a BBM. We are waiting for 5. If you want to hop in, hop in. I was a little taken aback by the tech issues I was having. So give me 1 second. Let me get the word out here. Waiting for 5 BBM. All right. It is Tory Horton time. Hey, Bindles, Chad, GM to you. Thanks so much for coming in, hanging out. Bindles, Dirty P. It's always been Tory time. Welcome aboard. Yeah, so it looks like they've changed the way comments come up, and people's avatars are absolutely colossal when they come up. I mean, I don't think I changed a setting. I don't know if I could change it back. That is so aggressive. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming in and hanging out. We're getting started early. We're waiting for 3 in this BBM. Of course, MVS was cut. That was very bad for yours truly. I have more MVS than I would care to, and that's looking pretty bad. There's always a chance he signs somewhere else, but I'm not really loving where that exposure has come out. It looks like something's changed with my style here. I have no idea. Why does this look like this? Maybe I clicked something. This seems a little more promising. All right. Either way, thanks for putting up with some minor morning tech issues we've got going on here. Again, I decided to start a little early. I thought Pete was coming on at 10, and I wanted to make sure I got 3 BBMs in before 10, and now I see he's going on at 10 on Friday. He comes on at noon today. Davis comes on at 11, so I could have started at the normal 8:30 time, but you know what? We're in here early. Maybe this BBM is going to be the one. I guess the other big news was Tim Patrick traded away from Detroit, so it is just wheels up on Tesla. His ADP was at, I believe, around 176, 177 as of this morning. That's going to steam up. I mean, even if Tim Patrick wasn't actually a threat to him, just the signal it sending him away, I think is going to just send the slappies into a absolute frenzy in this final week and a day before the season starts. I have how many BBMs do I have left? Let me check before this starts. So I've got 14 left after this one. So we're really getting down to the end of it. I think we paced pretty well. In my opinion, this contest will fill on Saturday. I don't think this contest is going to survive the weekend. Best ball on call, GM to you. I saw right before I went on, you had messaged me about the Tim Patrick trade. So yeah, thank you for letting me know. I'm pretty stoked about that. I've got around 8% Tesla, which I feel like is actually over market because he was undrafted at the kind of the beginning of the summer. So I'm happy with my 8% Tesla. I'm not going to be going absolutely crazy trying to get him, but he is certainly a target in the late rounds. I think he has pretty big contingent upside. If somebody asked, and I wish I remember who, because it's a great question, if JMO or Amon-Ra got hurt, where would we be taking Tesla? And I think the answer right now is very, very high. And I think he's going to have a reasonable enough role. I mean, the wide receiver 3 in Detroit has not been very fruitful the past few years. So I don't think it's like, we should expect massive production, but it also hasn't been a stone zero. So, Dark Side Dev, it was you. Okay, perfect. It was perfect. Thanks for asking that, because I've really thought about that, and it's made me really like Tesla, because it does seem like there's nobody else that could really slot in and try to get that kind of production. Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry, my parents are in town to help watch the little one for this week. My wife has some overnight shift, so they're around, and they were asking me a question, and I missed it, but that's okay. I don't actually need anything. Starbucks. Right. Morning. out this morning. Hopefully we get some good Dolphins news today. I don't know what that would be. I don't even know if such a thing exists as good Dolphins news, but maybe if there is, we'll get it. Dark Side Dev, the wide receiver in Detroit hasn't been a stud either, but now there's a stud. It seems like there's a stud. Speaking of studs, let's take Nico Collins, who is a certified stud here. We'll get him in at the here at the 111. I'd love some Amon-Ra. I'm a little light on him, not necessarily by choice. And so let's just do Nico Genti. I don't think we need to get too fancy in this particular draft. And let's do that. I have plenty of Drake London. I really like Drake London, but I don't need to go absolutely nuts there. Let's see what happens. Greg says the Bears running GM saying some cryptic things about their RB room. Someone's getting traded to Chicago. I feel like that would probably be good for me because I'm definitely light on Swift. He was one of those bets where I just didn't want to be totally out in case they didn't add anybody. Let me see what my Swift exposure is in BBM here. This is also going to include Rottweilers, which is a little annoying because I used to just be able to do $25 contests. So this is BBMs and Rottweilers. Swift, we're at 5.7. That's a little higher than I actually thought. 2.9% Monungai, and I always spell Roshan wrong. Roshan at 5%. So I think as a whole, I'm a little bit under on the Bears running backs because all of them seem kind of bad. But we will see. I actually thought I had more Monungai in BBM than 2.9%. But I guess that's where I got out. Greg says, "Don't love it. Want a clear runway for the Rutgers product." Well, I wonder, would it being a Rutgers product be bullish, but for one Isaac Pacheco, who we were pretty into and showed us that the Rutgers UDFAs are a thing. Roshan seems totally dead. Could see Tank coming to town. I could certainly see that too. And it does feel like the Jags are actively looking to move somebody, whether that's Tank or Etienne. I don't know, but certainly going to disrupt wherever they go. I think a lot of us got a little bit lucky if you were taking the bets on the Bears that B-Rob didn't go there because he could have easily ended up there. He kind of went to San Francisco and didn't really impact anything. Like, I guess he sent the Garendo shares to zero, which is a little unfortunate, but at least you were taking Garendo in the 140s to 160s. He wasn't like particularly costly, so that, I don't think that like torpedoed anybody's lineups, but there was a chance if he went to Chicago, Swift would have lost quite a bit of value. So we'll see. But yeah, I think Bigsby or Etienne going to Chicago would be pretty bad for a pick 66 Swift. I think those shares are going to look pretty thin there. So we've got Genti and Nico Collins. The board is coming around to us. If we want an elite QB, we could do Jaden Daniels here. We could, on the turn, take Hurts if we want. Hurts really never comes to 59. Very occasionally he would. Oh, shoot, we're on the clock. Oh, man. I'm just going to keep taking Garrett Wilson. I'm going to keep taking Garrett Wilson if he's falling to the 4th. I'm going to hold the line there. I just think that the FUD is out of control on that. Daniels would be interesting. I love Xavier Worthy. I think my preference would be Worthy here. Let's add that. I'm a little underweight on Mahomes and don't want to go into the season with that. So for me, Mahomes, if he comes to us at pick 83, will be a priority because again, I love Mahomes and don't want to be under on him, and somehow I'm slightly underweight on him this season. We'll pull up the board, see what's going on. Just offhand, don't see anything too weird. I guess Barkley, Bowers, Allen, this person going kind of zero wide receiver. Same with blank A44 going Bijan, Hampton, and Lamar. So a few people here just not prioritizing wide receiver, where the right side of the board is very wide receiver heavy. Just kind of interesting the way that the board pockets have shaken out this year, especially towards the end. Seeing Hampton all the way in the 20s is just wild to me. Seeing the elite quarterbacks now over on the left, those to me are the big ones. AJ Brown gets paired with Jalen Hurts, which is nice for this Sarge guy. He's got a nice little team going with one of each position. Although it is rare to see Hurts go ahead of Jaden Daniels, I think it makes sense if you're trying to stack Brown there. Boy, I've never gotten more text messages at 8:21 in the morning than when I tried to go live, slightly ahead of schedule. But let's see what comes around to us. 59 is usually a spot where I'm taking at least one of the running backs. You're kind of in that pocket of Kamara, Connor, RJ Harvey. Usually one of them is there. I'm thinking about maybe even pulling up Pacheco to 62 to pair with Worthy and ideally Mahomes. Although again, with Mahomes' ADP is 81, so you definitely can't reliably say he's going to be there past ADP at 83. Just especially with people's propensity to snap off unstacked Mahomes. He is a guy that if you're coming from normie land and you see Patrick Mahomes there in this pick 70s, you're just it becomes a podium pick for certain people here. Let's see what's going on the board. Jalen Waddle, another interesting guy. The vibes in Miami are off. It sounds like A-Chain will be ready for week 1, but any further injuries in Miami, Waddle I think just gets pushed higher and higher. I would like one of these running backs. Matthew Golden would also be interesting. Let's see what comes to us. I am open to the idea of skipping this range of running back because I so often get one of those guys over here on the right side of the board that maybe passing on that makes sense. Ibuka goes at 55. I could, of course, take Rashee Rice and potentially take that off the board for somebody who was looking to take Mahomes. But I don't think I can pass on Kamara. I really think Kamara is a strong play where he goes. Tieran says Hampton in the 20s doesn't seem ideal. No, it's crazy to me. It's crazy. And Najee's back. I don't know. It feels aggressive to me. It feels just a touch aggressive. Let's take RJ Harvey though. I know I said possibly doing Pacheco, but I think this is kind of, I really do like getting Harvey at 62 based on how early he was going in this contest. He to me is kind of a priority over here because he's been such a faller in this offseason. So let's take RJ Harvey. For the audio listeners, we've got Genty, Kamara, and Harvey, Nico Collins, Garrett Wilson, and Xavier Worthy. Like the way the team's coming together. Other notable guys, Odunze, Samuel, Golden, all picks I really like. But in this case, I went with the, I figured I'd try to fill the flex with a running back on this particular team. Joe Burrow, he goes at pick 63, unstacked to somebody that doesn't have Chase Brown. So again, hopefully this guy taking Burrow takes one more piece from the someone who could take Mahomes, and also this Waza guy took Rashee Rice, which is very fortunate. Him being on my right, it's one less person who could take Mahomes. And again, the Pacheco guy has Jaden Daniels, so it's lining up for us to potentially get all Patty Mahomes, but we will see. The guy who takes unstacked Burrow is also very, very apt to be the guy that takes unstacked Mahomes. Like if anyone's going to do it, it's actually probably the guy who is doing that. Al Boogie 78, Chad, GM. Thanks so much for coming in and hanging out, Al Boogie. We're on a little early. I appreciate everyone who's joining us because again, I normally come on in 5 minutes, but again, I really thought Pete was coming on at 10, and I'm like, I keep multi-tabling to try to get 3 drafts in, and it's been miserable. So let me just go at my own pace, and then he comes on at noon. So I probably could have come on at my normal time, but you know what? That's okay. Let's pull the board up, see what's going on. We are mostly on Mahomes watch. Past Mahomes, this is a range where I find myself taking a lot of Hawkinson, taking one of the Vikings running backs. Again, I don't mind doing like a a Jones Hawkinson or Mason Hawkinson double tap around here. I think that's an offense that we're all pretty excited about and wouldn't mind building out. So that's, no, I'm not saying I'm locking that in, but I'm saying it's something I will consider. My other quarterback option, Stroud, goes quite a bit later. It would be early to take Fields, but not crazy. The odds are Fields won't be here at 107, but you do get rooms that are out on him, and he didn't look great in the preseason, so that's possible he comes back around to us. Hopefully a few guys ahead of ADP here, a couple ADP fallers might, lure these guys into doing that rather than taking Mahomes from me. If Mahomes goes, I think for me it would just be a receiver like a Pittman. Jacoby Myers is kind of weird, being that he's interested in getting traded. All right, this guy did not take Mahomes. All right, so we're going to take Mahomes. I just want to think about my next pick. I'm feeling pretty good about these three receivers. I think Pittman would be the priority of this range. If Pittman goes, then maybe we look at taking like a Jaylen Warren. But I think Michael Pittman is just a really good pick here with Daniel Jones there. I think Pittman should be a big riser. I am taking Pittman ahead of Downs. I've always thought Pittman was the better click than Downs, even before the groin injury. But I know that's a little against market, but I think especially with the groin injury, I'm just going to break ties to that. So for the audio listeners, we've got Mahomes, Gentry, Kamara, and RJ Harvey. Wide receiver room of Nico Collins, Garrett Wilson, Xavier Worthy, and Michael Pittman, and a empty tight end room thus far. So far, so good. We've had a decent enough plan, and we've stuck to it. With our next pick, we could definitely look at Christian Kirk, and then maybe pencil in Stroud at 131. Obviously, Stroud could always get sniped from us, but if we get Kirk, it does lessen that possibility a little bit. We have the opportunity to take Daniel Jones late, and if Garrett Wilson is there at pick 107, we will take him there, but I don't think I can count on that. Joel says, early bird wake up, best ball this morning, GM. Hey Joel, thanks so much for coming in. Yes, we started early today. But we'll see. We're going to try to do three BBMs and get on out of here, and hopefully some of you all, if you want, can hop on in. Also, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please like and subscribe. The video yesterday, I have to say, was my most watched video, the most amount of views I've had, and that was awesome. I really thank you all for your support. This has been so much fun, and just growing this little channel and hanging out with you all in the morning has been fantastic. Greg says Naj avoids the IR, NFI, and Hampton still moves up. Weird. Makes you wonder what's really going on. What's really going on there? Jake Vinegar, first wave of Dynasty waivers run today. Gordon, Tesla, Horton are available. $100 season budget. Should I drop it all? It's hard to imagine for a Dynasty like better picks to just blow it all on. I mean, not just for this season, but it does seem like those guys have pretty bright futures where they are. So I am definitely not the foremost Dynasty expert, but to me that sounds pretty reasonable. I'm going to queue up Fields. If Fields goes, all right, so we're going to get Fields. Luther Burden would be kind of fun. I don't think I have any hope of pushing Fields around. This Waza guy needs a quarterback. I imagine they're going to do like Burden, Caleb, double tap. That's probably what I would do if I needed a quarterback there, but they're not me. We do need a tight end. Cam Scatabo is here, of course, but I think we're pretty good with the running backs. I don't need to force that. Shaheed wouldn't be terrible, considering that we have Kamara. Building a little bit of a bet on that. Building a little bit of a bet on the Saints, although that bet feels slightly thin. Let's see what Waza does. He takes Shaheed there. I think I'm Kraft over Loveland, and that might be heresy in the best ball world, but I'm just a little bit more into Tucker Kraft, I have to confess. I know I said I might take Christian Kirk. I didn't end up going that route. I think Kraft really has the potential to have a breakout season. Kirk is fine. I certainly could have done that, but then I did feel like if if I don't get Stroud, I'm a little bit less excited about creating that. With Kirk, Love could potentially come around to us as well with our next pick. And now I don't feel like I'm, totally punting off tight ends. But I certainly, again, I definitely could have taken Kirk, and maybe I should have stuck with that plan. Who Hames says, "Sup, fam? You snuck in live early." I did. I wanted to make sure we got 3 drafts in today. RT Moore will be here soon. Hey, Best Ball and Call, thank you so much, and thank you so much for all your support over this summer. It's truly meant a lot. You have been here since the beginning when I was streaming to an audience. I'd see the view count bounce between 1 and 2, and you'd come by and hang out. So it means a lot, and thank you. I really thank you for your support. Greg, Jake Vinegar, I think you got to do it for Ollie or Tesla. Could be Ollie is owned. Tesla to the moon, says Who Hames. Honestly, people just going to overdraft Tesla now. Yeah, he's going to go up a lot for for a role that's not amazing, but he certainly looks like he has some pretty good contingent value, and the team seems to really like him. I mean, Tim Patrick was a guy I was pretty in on a couple years ago before the Achilles injury. He seems like a pretty talented player. Just health has been an issue, and I don't know, maybe they got tired of dealing that, or they really just wanted to clear the runway for Tesla. But it's wheels up on Tesla. Ant Xwall was already at 8% on Tesla. Yeah, that's where I'm at too, Ant Xwall, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that level of exposure for myself. Let's see if this guy might take Stroud, because we let him get Kirk here. Are you the Kirk guy? Who's the Kirk guy? Now I'm confused. I thought this was the Kirk guy. Yeah, he was. So there's a Kirk guy passed on Stroud. So there's a pretty good chance we do get our third QB here. B-Rob is interesting. I see him go a little later, but if we want him, we probably got to take him here. Braylon Allen I like quite a bit, but I do like the idea of just getting this triple stack sorted. So let's get Stroud. Let's put some pressure on the room at quarterback. We'll queue up Braylon Allen. We'll queue up Dylan Sampson. I think these guys are good. Wide receivers are pretty thin in this range. I think we can push wide receiver to the next part of the board and move on there. Let's see what Waza does. The preference would be Braylon Allen to continue building out this Jets bet, but we will take Dylan Sampson if that doesn't come together. Let's see what Waza does. He takes the full time and takes Brian Robinson Jr. So let's get Braylon Allen onto the field. So for the audio listeners, we've got a 3-4-4-1 with Mahomes, Fields, and CJ Stroud. Running back room of Genty, Kamara, RJ Harvey, Braylon Allen. Wide receiver room of Nico, Garrett Wilson, Xavier Worthy, Michael Pittman, and then Tucker Kraft holding it down at tight end. I think this team is tells a story. We've got all of our quarterbacks stacked. We've got all of our primary wide receivers stacked. There's a few good late tight ends we can stick together with Kraft. The Fannin bet, the drumbeat is growing. I've been trying to get more and more Fannin, and see if we can't pick up some of those late wide receivers that have been rising up. With the question will be, would we go 3-6-6-3 or 3-5-7-3? Or even if we get another tight end we like, maybe we stop at 2 tight ends. I guess it's going to just depend what's there at 155. GM Tyler. Hey, Tyler, thanks so much for coming in. Emo Cowboy himself. Really appreciate you swinging by. Greg says, what do you win when you win with Tesla? Alec Pierce on a good offense. I don't know if that's facetious, Greg. That actually sounds pretty good. Like Alec Pierce had 800 plus yards last year. I think we would all take that from Tesla. So I don't know. I just can't tell if that's sarcasm, because I'm buying if that's what you're selling. Greg Ahuhams was not. He is low on Tesla. Tyler, almost 200 subs, y'all. Hey, Tyler, thanks so much. Yeah, we're getting close. My goal was 200 by kickoff. I don't think we're going to get there, but we're going to get close. We're going to get closer than I really had thought possible when I started streaming, and really appreciate your support and coming in. So thank you. Also, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please get there, because we're going to try. We're going to try Bo Kevin or just plain old Kevin. Buenos dias. Let's see how this daily disaster is shaping up. All right, Kevin, I'll recap the team after I make my my next pick, and you can be the judge of how it's going. All right, let's see. Yeah, these tight ends are pretty are not my favorite in this range here. I don't really love Hollywood Brown, even though we have Pat Mahomes. Trying to see, do any of these? Yeah, I guess we're just going to take Demario Douglas. I'm a little scared of Chisholm. I have to admit, Chisholm kind of is keeping me up at night ever so slightly, that he could usurp the Demario Douglas role. But I don't want to let camp hype get too steamy on me. I think that Demario Douglas does seem like he's has the trust of Drake May and is going to be involved this season, but I'm not clicking it with as much comfort as I was previously in the cycle. Will Shipley might be who we take here. Take a nice contingent back in this range. Where is Tesla? I think if we want Tesla, now is the time. This guy has 7 receivers. I'd be surprised if he takes another one, but maybe we do take Tesla on the team. Chig is actually who I was going to take if Tesla had gone. I do like Cade Otton, especially with all of the injuries happening in Tampa Bay. But let's get Isaac Tesla onto the team. We talked about him enough. I know Huham said he was out on him. I apologize. So for Kevin and any other audio listeners out there, we've got a 3-4-6-1 with Mahomes, Fields, and Stroud. We've got Genty, Kamara, RJ Harvey, Braylon Allen, Nico Collins, Garrett Wilson, Xavier Worthy, Michael Pittman, Demario Douglas, and Isaac Tesla, and then Tucker Kraft at tight end. So Kevin, how is the daily disaster going? You've got to tell me. Tyler loves swinging by. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Greg says, not a genuine question. When Alec is in the same place and have seen it already, I want to be a Tesla. Just Tim Patrick had 1 point over 5 weeks last year. I think, well, they also had we're working in Khalif Raymond and Raymond James, who I actually think is an investment company. No, I don't know. I don't think it was totally Tim Patrick's role. And I think it's possible that Tesla has just consolidated the third receiver. I can't imagine you saying Tesla to someone's ear. I imagine trying to say this to someone who's only experienced with Tesla is like the car company or Nikolai, and then pronouncing it Tesla. They would literally just want to punch you. All right, not bad so far. Marg approved so far. Yes. All right, Kevin, I am glad to hear that. I'm glad you approve of the team. Hopefully I don't screw it up too bad at the end, but I mean, the core of the team is intact. At this point, unless I get to 5 quarterbacks, I think then you're just nitpicking with player takes. So that's kind of my philosophy. At this point, keep your structure good and then throw the darts you think make sense. So let's see. We'll probably try to get another running back and tight end back here. Jonnu, certainly interesting. Will Shipley was a guy I was looking at. Keaton Mitchell makes sense. Let's see. Where is Fannin? Is at 172. I wouldn't mind that. So Keaton Mitchell goes. DJ Giddens goes. I'm starting to worry a little bit about the final running back we're going to take on this team. It's getting a little dicey, but I think we can land the plane. I think there's some deep shots as long as Shipley doesn't go. If Shipley goes, then I got a little bit of a problem here, folks. I got a little bit of a problem. Yeah, let's just take Shipley. This guy only has 3 running backs, so I think he's probably going to snap off a few. And it's going to be hard for me to take Fannin ahead of Jonnu. I think that's a little bit of fancy play syndrome if I were to do that. As much fun as Fannin is, Fannin almost feels like the mystery box that could be Jonnu. So why don't we just take Jonnu and not have the risk there? Would be 2 week 5 buys at tight end, but we're going to take a third tight end when this is done. Kevin says Roshan for the goal line work. Man, I'm worried Roshan is going to have the goal line work for the Shadow Realm, Raiders. I don't know. I'm afraid that he's his days are numbered in Chicago. the vibe on Roshan is in absolute shambles. But Kevin, we'll see. We could end up getting desperate there. Huhaim, Shipley at 180 is crazy. I just keep taking him. Yeah, I think the problem is we just get so excited about these new picks, we forget about the old ones that are still really good selections. All right, for the audio listeners, we got a 3-5-6-2. We got Mahomes, Fields, and Stroud. We've got Genty, Kamara, RJ Harvey, Braylon Allen, and Will Shipley chasing. Wide receiver room of Nico Collins, Garrett Wilson, Xavier Worthy, Michael Pittman, Demario Douglas, Isaac Tesla, and Tucker Kraft and Jonnu Smith. I think this team's fine. I don't mind this team. I think it's pretty well constructed. So we'll see how we land the plane. I think my preferred final back would be the ideal ending, going Fannin Burchard for me. My opponent here, he's got two tight ends with Warren and Chig. So I think it's a little 50-50 if he takes another tight end. Some people are pretty ideologically opposed to 3 tight end builds. I know Tyler famously prefers to stop at 2. All right, so there goes Fannin. If we need another tight end, there's quite a few names there. Let's queue up some other running backs because I think that's going to be more of a scramble. Taj Brooks. I'm light on Blake Corum. Damian Pierce is possibly clickable. Damian Pierce really could end up being a thing. He could really be a thing this year. And I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be him and Chubb early on, but Damian Pierce might actually fit better. I know there was some talk that he just couldn't handle the zone blocking scheme. They've got new coaches that don't run that. Damian Pierce, he wasn't healthy at the beginning, or at least at a portion of the off season. Seems like he's back, and I don't know. But there are 2 things could happen. One, Mixon could end up being healthy, and that sends that to not the greatest spot, or they could bring somebody else in. They could definitely are live to add a player. If Tank Bigsby goes to Houston, then us debating Woody Marks, Damian Pierce, and Nick Chubb are arguing about the lunchroom of the Titanic, because the whole thing is going down anyway, and it was a huge waste of time and energy. But Malik Washington, I think that's a good pick. He's been steaming up a little bit himself. I like Theo Johnson. I mean, Greg Dulcich just got the boot over there in New York, so he's somebody we could look at taking. And then I think I would take Burchard over that. If Burchard goes, then we'll take Theo. I'm okay if I end up with Jatavion Sanders or Juwan Johnson. I think those are all perfectly fine. So let's get Burchard Smith onto the team to pair with Mahomes. And I do have Kamara, so maybe it makes more sense to take Juwan Johnson. They waived one of their other tight ends is injured, so it might literally just be Juwan Johnson. So I like both Johnsons late. I think they're both very good clicks. Let's just take Theo, though. I don't really have a great case between the 2 Johnsons at this point. I kind of feel like they're kind of coin flippy. So let me just make sure. All right, so we'll take Theo Johnson here. I don't think there's any terrible bye week issues, and that'll do it for this team. So we end the team with a 3-6-6-3. We've got Mahomes, Fields, and Stroud. We got Genty, Kamara, RJ Harvey, Braylon Allen, Will Shipley, and Burchard Smith. Wide receiver room of Nico Collins, Garrett Wilson, Xavier Worthy, Michael Pittman, Demario Douglas, and Isaac Tesla, Tucker Kraft, Jonnu Smith, and Theo Johnson. Greg asking Kevin why, if he's still a Roshan guy. Kevin has fled the country and is not going to answer. Dirty Pete says, curious to see who picks up Damian Martinez. I remember us all wishing Dallas would draft him. Yeah, the Damian Martinez big board bags are deeply underwater. Damian Pierce allows me to continue the Chubb fade. Moreau and Hill both on IR. Yeah, that's pretty good for Juwan Johnson. That's a pretty darn good run out for him. All right, let's hop in another BBM, and this will we're waiting for 4 if you want to hop in. All right, let me alert people if anyone wants to come in. BBM waiting for BBM 4. All right, let's see. Waiting for 2. It could be you. It could be you hopping into this one. But again, thanks everyone for hanging out. Don't forget to like and sub while you're at it. Waiting for 1 down to the wire. Who will it be? Who is going to hop in and be the brave soul to join this extra sharp stream draft here at 8:46 a.m.? Let's see. And it is full. All right. All right. And we are in the 9 hole. I don't see any of you. What happened? Nobody got in. And so we'll see. I think unless you're in here, please identify yourself. But I don't offhand recognize any of the names. Walking the dog, but in the 18th, that guy that made the team and is expected to get the goal line carries. Not sure the vibe Chad makes up in his head seems pretty good to me. All right. Well, again, if Roshan is the goal line back, I do have a fair amount of Roshan, Kevin. I'm just going to tell you right now. Let's see. Let me see, because this is going to exclude the $1 contests. So I wish this was an easier way to do this. There probably is an easier way to do this, but whatever it is, I don't know. Because I don't count the $1 stuff because those were all auto drafts. So in the 491 contest, we got 9.2% Roshan, Kevin. So you should not worry about my Roshan position. I'm pretty well invested in your guy. So, we got to vary our exposures. And spread the risk around. Who aims is slamming first quarters. Hey, who aims? What's your sort of edge there? Are you worried at all about game totals for teams? Are you just avoiding the zeros and feel like that's enough? I'm curious as to how deep into the first quarter streets there are, because I really like the concept of the game. I just haven't had the time to sink into it. Okay, Kevin will take it. All right, good. Yeah, Kevin, I can't just click the same round 18 guys all the time. I got to spread it out. So, yeah, I like that team. I'm actually pretty happy with it. Especially, we avoid a lot of zeros late in the cycle, but then the Herald fandoms of the world who were literally stone free are now going in round 15. So like a lot of the fun round 18 clicks go in the 15th, and then you get to round 20 and it's like, this has gotten ugly. But we can still take Will Shipley at 180 for some weird reason, which makes no sense. All right. All right, I'm up, and then let me catch up with chat. Man, I would love McCaffrey at 9. Holy moly, that would be sweet. But I don't know if we'll get that. I'm not trying to be a big exposure portfolio bro, but I'm light on Amon-Ra, and I don't want to be way too light on him. So I'll queue him up and take him. CMC goes. Let's take Amon-Ra, because again, I'm somehow at like 4% Amon-Ra, and I want it to be at market. I didn't actually want to fade him, and somehow we're fading him. Greg says, makes sense. As president of the Kyle Monangai Club, I can't get down, but I was drafting him in the big board heavy. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, there should be one of those BuzzFeed quizzes on like, which Bears running back are you? And you answer a bunch of questions about your personality, and it's like, yeah, you're a Kyle Monangai guy. You're a hopeless optimist, and if you take Swift, you've just been beaten down by society, and you don't want to get burned, because no one's actually happy to take Swift. Ryder, first of all, GM, thanks so much for coming in and hanging out, joining us. I am so in on Xavier Worthy. Seems like the Chiefs love him. They're going to try to get him more big plays. Also, Rashi may be gone. I'm reaching for Worthy. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much a good summation on the Worthy thesis. I'm super in on him as well. I think he's like a guy that could be an absolute slate breaker any given week. All right, let's just do A-Chain. We'll take A-Chain Amon-Ra. That's not going to be any kind of unique pairing, but what really is what really is at this point from the kind of middle to right side of the board. I'm not too worried about the A-Chain injury. I think that's going to be fine. I would be much more worried about like a systemic Dolphins collapse. I also think A-Chain's sliding because the slappies just want to click Ollie Gordon later. So they're like, oh, I don't want to take A-Chain now because that kind of, I think you can take both. I don't know if Big Best Ball will tell you that, but you'll hear that on this channel. I think you can take A-Chain and Ollie Gordon, because I seem to recall A-Chain and Mostert worked pretty well, but my recollection might be a little hazy on that. Huhaim said, basically, I'm treating it mostly as a week 1 DFS slate with some consideration to total schedule. I think that makes sense. Also smashing running backs early to get some good running backs since contingent value doesn't matter, and throwing 8 to 9 darts at receiver. Yeah, see, Huhaim, I think that's interesting. Like, you don't have to go with like a 3-5-7-3 or a 3-6-7-2 and feel like if you stray from that, you're getting weird. Like, I feel like a weird format where you just pick, more hyper fragile, where like, okay, these are the 4 guys that just smash early, and then just like throw darts at other positions. I think that tracks, with what makes logical sense to me. Kevin asked, you guys get any PTP battle royales yesterday? I got 5. Did it fail, Kevin? Because I didn't even see it. Like, I didn't even see the primetime Palooza up there. Greg, former Rutgers season ticket holder. I never had a chance. Oh yeah. Well, I hope you're also taking plenty of Pacheco, because I am very in on Pacheco. Who aims running backs and IMO should be closer to eliminator values. 2 of 12 hardest advance in its week 1. Easiest to get thin, easier to be thin with 0 bye weeks. Yep. I think that makes sense too. Like, yeah, that's probably how I would play it. And again, it's something I wish I had a little more time to sink into. Fantasy Football Garage, GM Slap Kings. Hey, Fantasy Football Garage, thanks again for coming in and hanging out. Really appreciate you swinging by this morning. If you all don't subscribe to Huhaim's and Fantasy Football Garage, I'm not sure what you're doing, but you should do that. You should also subscribe to this channel. But I guess if you can only subscribe to one, probably one of those two. But no, you can subscribe to all of them. That's the best part about YouTube, is I don't think they limit you. I mean, maybe they do, but if they do, I think I'm deserving of one of those spots. Either way, we've got A-Chain, we've got Amon-Ra, and what are we going to do with our next pick? I was going to take Trey McBride, but you know what? Let's take Lamar. Let's make this an elite QB team. And so we've got Amon-Ra, A-Chain, and Lamar. That seems kind of fun, right? I could see a world where Amon-Ra is the best receiver in the league. Not crazy. A-Chain, same thing, best running back. And Lamar, best quarterback. I'm channeling my inner Liam. I'm channeling my inner chess Liam for that take, but I'm going to will it into existence and see what we can see. Definitely going to get a good wide receiver with our next pick. I like all of these guys in this range, with the exception of Terry McLaurin. I'm a little less in on him, even though he's just signed his contract. All of that risk has evaporated. We got Wilson, McMillan, and Worthy. Wilson, McMillan, and Worthy. Man, this is tough because I take so much Garrett Wilson. I take a ton of Xavier Worthy. I love Pickens. I like Tet McMillan. To me, I feel like we've seen it from 3 of those guys, and 1 is a rookie, so I'm least likely to take Tet here. I know I just did a Worthy team, but I think Worthy is just the best pick in this range. I really do. I think he kind of is, should be going significantly higher than he's going. Significantly is a little bit of a stretch, but I think he's, we were taking Rashee Rice at the 2-3 turn, and now Rashee Rice is going to miss some fairly large portion of the season, and Worthy hasn't moved. I'm just not sure what we're doing. Chad Kendall's the between 2 Johnsons dilemma. Yeah, and I like having two tight end spots with my 17th and 18th pick if I'm happy with the first one, because then you can just do Johnson and Johnson. I feel like that's kind of a fun ending and has a pretty good amount of upside in my opinion. And we've seen Juwan Johnson literally be the tight end you need in the playoff weeks. Kevin says that's a cool start. I hope you are also counting Worthy in there. If not, well, I hope you, I'm glad you like the first 3 at least. So let's see. Is anyone doing anything weird? I don't think so. Don't think so. Hurts at 44 to the Bijan Bucky Lad. I guess it's a little interesting. The AJ Brown drafter passed on Hurts. Although if you take Hurts here, there's a reasonable chance he'll get Devonta Smith at 53 if he's trying to stack Hurts. Obviously, you don't need to stack Hurts, and Dallas Goedert is almost free, but Devonta goes there at 48. The Jamar Chase drafter takes no chances. He takes no chances and drafts Joe Burrow at the 4-5 turn, which I think, again, is defensible. If you want that stack, you got to take it there, especially if you didn't also. Although from time to time you can still get it, but it's pretty rare. This is pretty good fall for Travion Henderson. Seeing him here at in the 50s is pretty rare. Did I freeze? Am I frozen? Uh-oh. Not sure what's going on. I might be frozen. I'm not sure. I don't know what has happened, but we're gonna soldier on here. I was on Sean Mitchell's stream yesterday, and I watched it back, and I was like freezing weirdly in the camera, and that was not great. So, all right. Huam says I froze for 5 seconds. Kevin says I'm not frozen. So hopefully we're back. I really don't know what happened. I have nothing running in the background, so that's it's not great. But we will figure it out. We will figure it out. We've got Lamar here, so Zay Flowers is probably who we should queue up here. If Zay Flowers goes, then I would just scoop the ADP value on DJ Moore. I think we're going to get a running back we like with our next pick. I'm pretty confident in that. Greg says vocals are fine. You got some stuttering. Kevin says just your typical indecisive panic we're used to. Thanks, Kevin. That's what people watch. If you want polished, high quality stuff, that's why people watch Pete. Like the production values, the confidence, the delivery. That's Pete. You come here and it's like things go off the rails slightly. But yeah, I don't know why my camera is stuttering. I gotta figure out what's going on. I'm also been meaning to change my the computer I stream on, and this might just be the end for this one. Oh, I know what's going on. That's what's happening. All right, hold on. Give me a second here. Give me a second. I'm going to how do I What have I done? Am I back? I think I'm back. All right. That was tough. That was a tough scene. Let's take a Mecha Egbuka here. Let's take a Mecha Egbuka. Let's pull ourselves out of this nosedive. Normally I would take a running back here, but let's do something a little different. Let's take Egbuka. Yeah. All right. I fixed something. Yeah. All right. Are we about to auto Rashi Rice? Yeah, that got close. That got pretty close. Saved by the blue. This is a disaster. Okay. I realized that I'm on my laptop and my laptop was not plugged in, so I had the power cord plugged in, but it wasn't actually on. So I wasn't charging, and as the battery gets low, the computer starts overheating, and that's what was going on, and that's why we were in just near ruins, because my battery almost died. So anyway, we are back. Hey, T-Eds. Well, what a great show to turn in. I'm barely able to keep my my camera working. I'm stuttering. I've got Kevin making fun of me. It's just but thank you. Able to tune in for once. Yeah, this stream is may not be going on the streaming resume, but we'll see. Hopefully the team is. And the team we've got here is a 1140 with Lamar, A-Chain, Amon Ra, Xavier Worthy, Zay Flowers, and Emeka Egbuka. Team is sick though, says T-Eds. Hey, thanks T-Eds. Again, thanks so much for coming in and hanging out. Hopefully we've moved the glitchiness behind us, especially as the battery charges. As the battery charges, the computer should get happier, and the camera should stop glitching. Yeah. Jag saved me from Rashi Rice. I mean, although Rice and Worthy, then maybe we take Mahomes and we do a double elite QB build, and you just watch as the gritty takeover happens. Other than that, I don't think we've got anything too out of the ordinary happening on this team. Rizzy Pearsall goes at pick 51. His rise continues. That's pretty expensive for old Ricky Pearsall, but you know what? There are those who think that the price is well warranted as the Jennings calf / contract rages on. Ricky Pearsall has just continued to rise up. ATX Burkett, GM boys, tick tock. Yeah, 8 days left. 8 days left for immortality, and this is it. Lad at 29. Boy, I didn't even notice that. That is pretty darn nice to get Bijan Bucky Lad. That's going to be pretty unique there. Yeah, and they get to Pollard at 77. Man, I like Pollard at 77. That is pretty fun. We are in the market for a running back. I think taking Mahomes here would be getting just a touch too cute. Let's see. My preference would be Jordan Mason. If Mason had gone, I probably would have pulled Warren in there. I'm pretty cool on Caleb, but I'm not like totally out. Let's add Jordan Mason to the team, and we'll see what comes to us in 6 picks. Be a little bit early to try to do a Lamar double with Andrews. You know, if Mahomes is there at 88, I would consider doing that and then stopping at 2. But that would really probably be getting, again, way too cute. Jalen Warren, the preferred pick. If Warren goes, then I think we're taking. I think we're taking a tight end. But if I take a tight end, why wouldn't I just take Mark Andrews? Andrews, of course, would be a little ahead of ADP. We pick next at 105. I don't know that you need to double stack Lamar, but we certainly could. Keon Coleman's a guy that I'm pretty into. Again, I took Pittman last draft. Travis Kelce going. I think Andrews just makes the most sense on this team. Thinking about other quarterbacks we can get later, it's really Baker's already gone, so it's really just Goff. Let's get Mark Andrews. We'll lean into this. Lean into the Ravens here. So we've got Lamar, A-Chain, and Mason. Wide receiver room of Amon-Ra, Worthy, Zay Flowers, and Emeka Egbuka. And then Mark Andrews at tight end. Yep, seems all right. You know, would have been nice to get a good running back faller there, but that's just not the way the board fell for us. Joel asks, what are we guessing for when BBM fills? I'm thinking Sunday night. I'm thinking Saturday night. I'm thinking Saturday overnight. It's gone, but like Saturday evening. That's my projection, but we'll see. I really don't think it survives the weekend. It's going to fill exponentially. Does this show the fill rate? 85.9. I mean, yeah, this was at 81 like a day and a half ago. So we're starting to go parabolic in the BBM fill rate. Kevin says, you're making better choices since I'm over here now. Pressure makes diamonds. Love that. I hope that's on your family crest, Kevin, because it would be an appropriate, you know, if you were a Game of Thrones house, your motto, pressure makes diamonds. Hopefully though, some of this pressure we can find some good running backs. I'm scared that Scatabo is going to be at the top of the queue, and then you're going to, you know, pressure also makes Cole. And that could be what we're turning to on this team. We may not even be a Cole. We could just be like a Pete Bog, and I guess that's good for making whiskey, but not so great for making best ball teams. Let's see. Ryder says, what percentage of people make money in BBM? Not very many. I mean, the final is how many people? Does it say the final size here? 539. So, you know, this thing has 600,000 people. 539 people get their money back, right? Because if you max it, you really need to make kind of a deep run to have turn any kind of profit. I mean, I suppose if you enter 5 or 6 and you get a semis team in, you might be okay. Obviously, if you get a finals team in, that's huge, but that's so hard. I mean, if you max this contest, you are expected to make a finals team once every 8 years if you do have just average advance rate. Like, that's really hard. Like, it is very, very, very hard to get there. Yeah, ATX Bearcat famously notes that some of us get a t-shirt. I filled out the form. I am waiting by my mailbox every day, waiting for my shirt. We'll see if we get it. Kevin notes that it is a good Game of Thrones house motto. Well, see, I'm glad if nothing else, then you could get that out of this channel today. Probably need another running back here. Evan Ingram, I'll just note, I'm a little concerned that he's not actually the Joker in Denver, and that the real Joker is us for believing Sean Payton on that. I have some sincere concerns that he's going to be like a lot more rotational than we want him to be. J.K. Dobbins probably makes sense. I mean, not the most electrifying pick you're going to watch on stream today, but one that I do feel like makes sense. He's just going to be kind of a nuisance all season. I think he'll have a few spike weeks here and there. Shouldn't be a big zero. Gross. LOL. Yeah, Ryder. I'm telling you, if you are trying to do good bankroll management, I would say these smaller contests are just such a better use of resources. Like, if you had a $25 bankroll and you could enter BBM or the Rottweiler, I would just say enter the Rottweiler. Like, I know that's full, but like, it's just, you're so much more likely to be back next year. Like, if you're playing the smaller contests with better advance rates, with which better payout structures, and they've done a better job smoothing out the top end of BBM, but like, that's literally going to affect 20 people out of 600,000. Like, it's obviously there's fewer than 600,000 people because a lot of people are maxing and whatnot, but it is brutal. This is not the contest for I don't want to say the casual, because everyone people have their right to spend money how they want, and if you want to enter a lotto, that's fine. But if you're trying to like make this a more profitable venture, this is like objectively a bad contest in my opinion. And then you have people doing dumb things like taking every share of Cam Scatabo that they can, and just making it maybe making the game more beatable for other people. I do annoyingly feel like Scatabo is a good pick on this team. I think Burden's fine, but I'm pretty happy with my wide receiver room with those four. And I wanted to catch up a little bit with Mason and Dobbins are kind of not the primary backs there. Scatabo is at least not going to be the primary back at the beginning. So we'll see. We will see what happens. We'll add another Cam Scatabo team. Everyone can point and laugh when he's getting iced out by Devin Singletary. There, the Gale says, "What is dead may never die." The House of Kyle Pitts motto. Yeah, for sure. I could see Kyle Pitts hanging out with the House Greyjoy and just just being kind of miserable for eternity. It's been tough for us Kyle Pitts people since his rookie season, but hey, we're just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep trying it. Just thinking ahead for us, quarterback has gotten away from us. This is starting to look like a Tua backstacky kind of situation. We've got Lamar, so we were thinking we would want to push quarterback to later, but we didn't really get another receiver that we can stack. So we're going to have to come up with some back stacks, I think, to bail this one out. Kevin says, we're all looking for the guy taking so much Scatabo, one of life's great mysteries. Yeah, I mean, I think if I wasn't in this contest, this ADP would be at like 117.4. Like, I think I've got to be worth at least 1 decimal point alone on this guy. But you know what? We'll see. I mean, maybe that's the impact that I was meant to have on this world, was pulling up Cam Scatabo's ADP. We'll see. JJ McCarthy wouldn't be a horrific click. I don't think he's going to have too much with Mason, but at least we would be betting on a singular offense there. Byshell Tootin, I like a bit, and then we could potentially try to do like Lawrence and T-Law and Strange. We could do that. Tank Bigsby, I think, wouldn't be a bad click. let's see what the room gives to us here. The wide receivers have really kind of flown the coop. So Tank Bigsby goes. I think we'll just take Byshell Tootin here. Let's take another swing at running back, and then if T-Law comes back to us, we'll take T-Law. If T-Law goes, I think we need to take an unstacked quarterback so that we don't fall too far behind at this point, whether that's a Young or a Ward or whatnot. I think that's the way we're going to go. I could also take an unstacked Herbert. I don't think that's horrible. Chances are he runs a little more this year, and he's certainly a good player. So let's queue up. Let's queue it up like this. So unfortunately, T-Law does go. For us. All right. ATX Bearcat says Godwin is back. He passed a physical, whatever that means. Yeah, I don't know what that means. That was like a weird bit of news, and I don't think we have any clarity on what that means. Unfortunately, Kincaid goes, Herbert goes. So this is a little gross, but we're just going to take unstacked Cam Ward at this point, and we'll look at maybe adding a late Chig, a late Io Manor, and seeing if we can't do that. I'll queue up Tua. In the ideal world, we could do Tua, pair him with A-Chain, and see how it goes. So, Kevin, I don't know if this is going to be your favorite team. I don't know if it's all my fault. Probably is. But so far, we've got a 2-4-5-1. We got Lamar, Cam Ward, Devon A-Chain, Jordan Mason, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Scatterbo, and Byshell Tootin. So a little bit sketchy with the running back room, but we'll see. Amon-Ra, Xavier Worthy, Zay Flowers, and Emeka Egbuka, and Mark Andrews in there at tight end. Yeah, his foot is attached to his leg. Yeah. I was wondering about the physical. Like, was it like when you go to a doctor and they say, like, yeah, you passed the physical, you're not like in imminent risk of falling apart? Or was it more like you can play in the NFL? Because, it's like you take your kid to the doctor to get a physical to play like middle school sports. Like, that's probably a different level of physical than Godwin went through, but who knows? I have no idea. Kevin here with the real answer. Kevin says you passed the physical to not be on PUP, purely administrative. He's not on IR because our limited IR with return spots, so that we'll push to keep him on the roster till he's ready. Yeah, Kevin, and my understanding is he also can't practice if he's on PUP. So if they want to ramp him up, then that makes sense. And also, yeah, your point about the rosters is well taken. Again, the two players I'm completely lost on are Rashad White and Roschon Johnson. I don't take Rashad White. I think Rashad White is kind of ass. And if he beats me, then I was never going to win any money this season. I don't understand the Rashad White thing. I don't even know if he's truly the backup there. I'm very out on that one. Ed says, yes, this is more of an overall health, physical, heart, lungs, etc. Huhaim says, the IR spots with return is for the season, so I believe they are valuable. All right, so Tua went to the Tyreek drafter, so I can't really be too mad at him because that certainly makes sense. We could take Ali Gordon. You know what? Let's live a little. Let's handcuff the Dolphins running backs. Let's take Devon A-Chain and Ali Gordon. That's kind of fun. So we're now up to 6 running backs, and we're going to stop there. And let's just tell ourselves that we have recreated the A-Chain Mostert from a couple years ago. I don't think a lot of people are going to do that, and maybe they're not doing it because it's bad. But we are going to do that here on the Chad Candles YouTube channel. Isaac Tesla goes. Let's look at adding Chig. If Chig is gone, then maybe we look at taking Geno as a third quarterback. But I'm not going to push a random unstacked third quarterback with Lamar and Ward. I think I can push that off to later and see what we want. So let's get Chig onto the team. So for the audio listeners, we have a very unusual for us 2-6-4-2 with Lamar and Cam Ward, and Devon A-Chain, Jordan Mason, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Scatterbo, Byshell Tootin, and Ali Gordon. We've got Amon-Ra, Xavier Worthy, Zay Flowers, and Emeka Egbuka, and then Mark Andrews and Chig Okonkwo at tight end. kind of interesting squad, really leaning on these first 4 receivers because we haven't added any since then. But again, I'm confident in our ability to pick off some late, and let's just see what we're able to put together. Who Hames, however, thinks Rachaad White is a smash. Yeah, I guess just in my mind, he was out there not doing anything. I'm become a little bit of a Sean Tucker truther. I mix him in the 18th round and late on DK. So I just don't know. I think that's my issue with that is I think he turned to dust to Hames. That's my opinion. And that could be wrong, but I think he might have ended up a little bit dusty. Greg says throwing some Rachaad White on those Dolphins team for week 17 stuff feels all right. Yeah, I guess I just feel like if it's that, I would rather it be Sean Tucker, but I don't know. That could be wrong. I mean, Sean Tucker might not be that great either. Hey, Who Ames, is Rachaad White ready for week 1? He's asking. Kevin took Ollie and A-Chain yesterday. Well, I am in good company. Yeah, I think it's doable, Kevin. I really think that's not like terrible. Who Ames, ATX Bearcat, not confirmed, but sounds likely, just like Downs. Let me see what's going on with running backs, quarterbacks. What do we want? Tory Horton. Let's queue up Tory Horton. I have a feeling he's going to go, although this guy has 8 receivers. This guy has 7. I mean, my God, people are frothy. So would have been nice to do Horton Darnold, but that would have been a little too much to hope for. Let's get Tory Horton onto the team. Hopefully, if Tory Horton goes, then do we just look at taking Io Manor now to avoid that? Did he already go? He already went. Jeez Louise. All right, so all the fun clicks are gone. All the fun clicks are gone. We're dodging one more guy to get Tory Horton. If Tory Horton goes, then we'll take Wandale. Yeah, let's take Tory Horton. Let's swing for the fences here with that. Wandale would be fine. If we want to make the Fannin bet, we might need to, although Jonnu is still there, and we have Andrews and Chig, so I'm comfortable pushing a third tight end till either the end or not at all here. Joey B says, GM, Rachaad is indeed a smash. He's back at practice. So Who Hames and Joey B in lockstep there on Rachaad White. All right, let's see. Chris Rodriguez goes. Who do we want? Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin is, of course, clickable in this range. Darius Slayton might even be better than Wandale. We are up on the board. And you know what we're going to do is we're going to take Jackson Dart. I did want to get a little more Dart in my life. We have our friend Scatabo on this team. We are likely to be able to get Theo Johnson in the 17th round in the ideal world. So we will see. Would be nice if we could get Slayton as well, but we will see if he comes around to us. So for the audio listeners, we've got Lamar Jackson, Cam Ward, and Jackson Dart, Devon A-Chain, Jordan Mason, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Scatabo, Byshell Chun, Ollie Gordon. So pretty high upside running back room in my opinion. You know, it's certainly one that might not hit. Like there's a lot of question marks here, but there could be a lot of exclamation points by the time this season is done. Amon Ra, Xavier Worthy, Zay Flowers, Emeka Egbuka, and Tory Horton. So leaning into, 3 established stars and then 2 rookies that we are kind of into. And then Mark Andrews and Chig Okonkwo. Yep. I don't mind this team. It's a little different from how we normally build, but that's good because, again, we don't want to keep doing the same things over and over. Who Aim says, weird thing is Underdog put out a week 1 line for Mooney yesterday, which they had not done, might mean something. Go look at White's last 5 games after the Bucky breakout right now. Yeah, I probably need to be more numbersy and less vibesy about Rachaad White, Who Hames. I just feel like, I don't know. I in my recollection, he was like on the field but not getting the ball, which is bad. Like I really thought he was playing, but they just didn't trust him to like do anything. So I don't know. Who Hames also has Ali A-Chain and famously notes that Sean Tucker got 0 snaps in a playoff game. And that is a good point, Who Hames. I mean, I used that as a reason to not take Audric Estime at all this offseason, and it suited me well. And now I'm like, oh well, that mattered for the Raiders, but not for the Bucks. So you might be right. You might be right, Who Hames. And I don't have zero white, but he's just not a click that I'm really in on. Dirty P, I would estimate there are about 3K of us sickos who still have 15 entries left in BBM. That's 45K entries. This contest is 90K entries from Phil. Yeah, Dirty P, that, back of the envelope math kind of tracks for me a little bit. All right, let's see. Fannin is still here. Did Theo go? Did I miss Theo? Yeah, Theo just went. Okay, well, hopefully we get Fannin, because that's a lot more fun than the other options, and I think I can conjure up a late receiver I'm excited about, but not a tight end I'm as excited about as Fannin. So that's a little unfortunate. I did want to do Theo to pair with Dart. That was part of the Dart thesis, was I would be able to get Theo Johnson there. I know I said exciting, but we're going to click some not exciting name there. If we can get Yoshi Voss, I would be happy with that. Jaguars got, who did they get? Were they the recipients of Tim Patrick? I don't know. Makes me a little nervous about Diami Brown. Maybe I shouldn't be, but before I hear anything else, let's just queue up some different people. Roman Wilson and Jalen Lane. Let's queue those guys up. I don't know if people are less in on Lane now that the contract situation has ended, but let's just take Yoshi Voss. I think that's kind of a meat and potatoes click, but I think it's more than a zero with a little bit of potential contingent upside. Honestly, it sounds like he had a good camp. So for the audio listeners, we got a 3-6-6-3 with Lamar Jackson, Cam Ward, and Jackson Dart, Devon Achane, Jordan Mason, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Scatterbo, Baishal Tootin, and Ali Gordon. A wide receiver room of Amon Ra, Xavier Worthy, Zay Flowers, Emeka Egbuka, Tory Horton, and Andre Yoshivas, and Mark Andrews, Chig Okonkwo, and Harold Fannin. Kind of a fun team. I don't mind it. Let's catch up with chat, and then we'll hop in one more, and then hop on out of here. Dirty P says, or Huim says, I think BBM overlays slightly, but it's just my guess. If it doesn't fill till Monday, means sprint and marathon going to overlay big. Yeah, Huims, I would be stunned if BBM overlays. I really don't think that's going to happen, but I think you're right. I think the sprint and the marathon are gonna have pretty heavy overlay, and might be worth trying to get some sprints in because I really like sprints. Do you think I'm too low on the sicko count? I'm kind of going by the fill rate on the time box contest. No, that kind of tracks to me. Who Aim says White has a role and he's the perfect guy to get you some points while your rookies are ramped up. Yeah, Who Aims, he might just be a blind spot for me. Like I'm willing to admit that I have not given him the due diligence he probably deserves for being in an offense that we're all like super excited about. Joel says, Who Aims, I spoke to some underdog guys at the Fantasy Football Expo. They expected BBM to fill a little later than last year in the sprint marathon to end up at 85% filled. I'd be stunned if the sprint gets to 85%, but people will chase overlay and it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Sprint marathon definitely going to overlay unless the whales come in strong, says Dirty P. Greg says, estimate to the Titans going to save those big board bags. I think unless they start crediting CFL scoring, Estime is not going to save any bags. Who says, Joel, I do think BBM at worst is 99, but sprint marathon I don't see over 80. Yeah, I'm with you on the latter point of the sprint marathon. We will see. Dirty P says, yes, Jag Scott, Tim Patrick, Fireball Jones. Yes, if you follow the fantasy footballers, they would call Tim Patrick Fireball Jones because Tim Patrick was such a generic name for a player that they thought was kind of exciting. So that is the Fireball Jones from Dirty P. BBM will definitely not overlay, says T. Yeah, I agree. I would be something weird I think would have to happen. Who Aims, I estimate about 0 points for Audric. Yeah, you hate to see it. All right, we're going to get one more BBM and then get out of here. We got 13 left. Season is coming to a close. Hop Ball Summer waiting for 6. If anyone wants to hop in, we are waiting for 6 in this contest. And then we're off and running, waiting for 4. But yep, again, If you have not liked and subscribed, please do so. It does me a lot of good. Again, the goal is 200 subs before the season starts, so we're gonna need about 3.5 each day. The fill rate, it looks like the sub goal is gonna overlay a bit, but you know what? We will see. We will see. Hopefully, if you want to chase overlay, this is the place to do it with the Chad Cantle sub count. Would mean a lot to me. Would definitely mean a lot. All right, if you want to get in, waiting for one, now is your chance. And we are officially still waiting for one. Still waiting for one. I thought it was gonna time that better. That didn't work. Well, let's see what happens. I'm actually really thought it was gonna fill. All right, let's see. Do we like night driving? Do we want to switch it? No, let's keep on night driving. We got a good vibe going. I like the teams we've gone. We got a great crew in here this morning, and let's see if any of you guys got in here. We got J Dubs, aka Mr. Worth, in at the 3 hole, and it looks like that's it. I'm over on the 11. So a few drafts over on the right side of the board today. That's fine. It's actually kind of nice because your 18th round click is like, I have 10 less people in front of me, and that weirdly matters when the Slappy community is like really consolidated around the same late round click. So don't mind being on the right side of the board at the end of the cycle here. I think that is just fine place to draft. So let's see what we can see. We'll pull up the board, and I believe this one starts in 12 seconds. Starts in 12 seconds. So Hames, how many first quarters are you trying to max that one, or are you just trying to just jam in as many as you can? Because I think it's 150 max, isn't it? Let's see. First quarter to 50 max. Okay, that's actually not bad. That's like doable. Are they small? Are they 12-person drafts? I don't know. I just missed it. They are draft size 12. Okay, so they are normal size. I just haven't done any of them, so I wasn't sure. All right, let's pull up the draft. Yes, Joel got in here at the 3 hole. Who says, I'll do 30 to 50. Not sure. Got 18 right now. Nice. Yeah, I wish I had been able to do more of that. But and the odds of me doing the like weeks 5 through 8 ones are pretty low. I always tell myself I'm going to do mid-season best ball, and I just can't. It's like need a little time to reset on the best ball brain, and then moving into BRs and DFS. The mid-season slates are just really tough for me to get into. Who did 16 of the first quarter one. Nice. All right. Let's see. I don't think I want to try any weird board flippy type stuff. I'm on Rocco's. Let's just take Malik Neighbors. We'll go at ADP here. I think that's perfectly fine. Neighbors, Genty would have been cool, but Genty went ahead of me at 9. That's of course a week 17 game. Really any of these combos work for me. Derrick Henry goes. I'm a little light on BTJ, but honestly, that's kind of by design. I'm going to live my truth. I'm going to make this draft a little more player takey, and we're going to take Drake London. I am very, very into Drake London this year, and we'll see if we can't make a little Penix situation on this team. All right. Wim says, I will say I'm banking on Etienne being traded and Bigsby being week 1 season 40%. Woof. Man, that's a lot. Hey, but I mean, I think that makes sense in that contest to make those kind of big stands. And especially in a 50 max. Like, it's not like BBM where you can like roughly cover a lot of different combos. Obviously, there's like an infinite amount, but it's making a stand in a 50 max. I kind of like it because you're going to end up naturally like a little bit concentrated, just the way your pick variants are going to go, and just sort of variance between rooms. So I'm into doing that. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I hope one of those guys gets traded, and it's not just like this hideous timeshare all season long. Jags get Carolina and then Cincy. Man, it could be a hot start. It could be a hot start for the Bigsby or Etienne drafters this year, because that's about as good as you can do. That's truly about as good an outcome as you can ask for, at least before we learn a little more. BTJ all the way at 17. That's kind of nice for the Nico drafter here, although you can get Nico BTJ sometimes at the 11 and 12 hole. Maybe they can pair them with someone unique here at pick 32. Otherwise, looking over here, a couple of double running back starts, but nothing too out of the ordinary. We've seen Trey McBride get pushed into the third round more and more lately. We're seeing that happen in this particular draft. A little surprised he didn't go to either of the Bengal people. We'll see if he makes it. Probably won't make it all the way to the Chase Brown drafter, but I guess you never know. Guess you never know how this will go. Huhaim says, here's my week 1 BR question. How high does JCM go? Ooh, probably a lot higher than he should. I don't know, though. I mean, with a full complement of running backs, I don't know. He probably is fine. He'd probably end up going in like the 3rd or 5th round, like where he's not like going to kill you. I don't know. That's interesting. I'm very curious. I'm very curious to see where he goes. I just feel like it's going to be almost a spot to potentially avoid till we see a little more. Although they play the Giants, which is like a pretty nice matchup. I think they play the Giants week 1. Have to fact check that. So Trey McBride goes to the Harrison drafters. So they've got a big bet here on the Cardinals. Yes, Joel says he's cooking in the 3 hole, and Huhames agrees. And Huhames also will have 0 JCM week 1. Yeah, I guess it'll depend on where he goes there. All right, let's take Omarion Hampton. Let's take Omarion Hampton at pick 35. That's a more palatable place to take this guy than where he has been going, and getting a running back there seems pretty good. James Cook goes. We've been doing a lot of worthy. Devontae Adams isn't bad. He's a week 17 with Drake London. I'm a little light on Devontae Adams. Terry McLaurin goes, all right, I just have such a hard time clicking Devontae Adams over Xavier Worthy. You know what? I'm going to take Xavier Worthy. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a stand. I'm going to stand for something in this world. So we'll take Xavier Worthy on the team. And so far we've got Neighbors, London, Hampton, and Worthy. I said this was going to be a player takey draft, and we're doing exactly that here. We're doing exactly that. Be great if we could get another Mahomes team, but this time I don't have the luxury of Rashee Rice. Well, actually, no, Rashee Rice will go around pick 60. So we'll see if this CH11 guy takes Rashee Rice or not. George Kittle goes next at 39, and this drafter does the nice 1-1-1-1 start, which is very aesthetically pleasing. Begin. Yeah, Hampton back at the 3-4 turn. Let's go. I will not say no to that. I will not say no to that if we can get him here. Giants D-line is nuts. Yeah, I think that it's just one of those where it feels like a little fancy, like to be doing that. If you're 150 maxing BR, then sprinkling in the cross scheme merit bet's probably fine. But I typically don't max BR, and I don't think I'll do that this season, or definitely not week 1. I say that, and then I'm gonna get like really excited to play. But I don't love I don't think I love that one, Huhames. I think I'm with you there on the cross-key merit bet. Want a little more clarity before I ape into that. I think there's probably going to be better situations at cost, and the odds of him truly separating versus the other options and where we have to take him are on a full slate seem low. If it was like a primetime Palooza, then you're obviously not going to avoid him there. So Breece Hall, he's down at 49. He's at 49. He's been a big faller, continues to fall. There in the 5th round is nice. I mean, I like him more in BBM than in time boxed stuff because you are getting it in better here than people in other contests have gotten it. Let's check in on anything other out of the ordinary. Lamar gets paired with Flowers. We were able to do that last team, and I like how that ends up. The elite quarterbacks are all spread out. We don't have anyone doing any double elite funny business. And let's see what we can do here. So we're likely to, well, if I was going to say likely to double tap running back, but if we can get like Ridley or Waddle, we will not pass on either of those. And then again, Kamara, Harvey, Connor, all of those are pretty nice picks in my view. I think I'm going to reach up and grab a Pacheco share though on this one. I want to get a worthy Pacheco over here on this side of the board. I don't know if it would be at the cost of Kamara, who I do kind of rate in his own tier. So unfortunately we don't get that, but let's take Kamara and then let's queue up Pacheco. I'd be pretty surprised if this CH11 guy takes Pacheco ahead of ADP there. If he does, then let's take Tony Pollard. We're going to try to just mix up the right side of the board just a touch. He takes unstacked Burrow, so he really could do anything with this pick at this point. He takes Deebo Samuel. So let's take Pacheco. Let's take Pacheco ahead of Harvey and Connor. Let's mix it up just a touch. I think this will be, you were able to get Worthy on this side of Pacheco on this side of the board early in BBMs, but those days are pretty long past. So we're going to try something new here. Huham says, I think I'm going to max the $3.50 max each week. Yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense. And I think that's like a very reasonable, bankroll allocation to do that if that's like in the budget. Because the BR at $7 a pop gets pretty darn expensive if you start getting high volume in there. Dirty P has 0.7 Worthy, 1 of 140. Why? I don't understand the hard fade. I get a soft fade. I get like a 4%, but he just seems like he's potentially just a monster spike week kind of guy attached to a Hall of Fame quarterback. Like I can see sympathy for soft faders. I mean, people just have players they don't like, but Dirty P, to me, that's just like you're banking on injury at that point. Like I have a tough time with that. I'd say good luck, but I can't even say that with a straight face because I have a ton of Worthy. So Dirty P, I'm sorry. I'm not with you on that take. That is aggressive. GM Hartman, thanks so much for coming in and hanging out this morning. I just woke up. Are you cooking? Well, let's let Hartman be the judge. So we've got a 0-3-3-0. We've got Hampton, Kamara, and Pacheco at running back. We pulled Pacheco up on this draft on the right side of the board. We got Neighbors, Drake London, and Xavier Worthy. I would count this as a cook. Mahomes, of course, he goes at pick 74 for some reason to a guy with no connection to Kansas City. But you know what? I'm sure he's telling himself like, oh, they play Denver in week 17. So good luck there like this with that selection. So unfortunately, we will not be able to stack Worthy and Pacheco on this particular team, but we are going to, we're going to figure it out. Huham's noting Worthy is a scary fade, like JMO is a scary fade. Those are two of my highest exposed players. So I hope it's scary for a reason. GZ again, Hartman. I think I missed something there. Point to a Worthy spike week. Oh wait, he's too expensive. I mean, I don't know if you're counting the Super Bowl as a spike week. I think he had like 38 points or something like that in there. And it sounds like in the offseason that Kansas City's been working on the deep ball stuff. I just don't think they're going to be as vanilla this year. I think they're going to try to work in downfield stuff. And Worthy got better. I mean, remember, he was a rookie. Rookies can get better. 4th round Rashid Shaheed. Oh, Dirty P. I see. I'm not going to be able to talk you off of this position, nor would I ever want to talk anyone out of a sincerely held belief. But I just, man, that is one that I am having some serious trouble with. Let's see. I know I just took a Jordan Mason team, but let's do another Mason team. My preference would be Keon Coleman next. If Coleman's gone, then maybe Pittman. I don't really have a reason to take an unstacked Knicks. I don't really want to pay up for any of these tight ends. So Jaden Reed goes, and let's see. Keon Coleman's been a bit of a riser. I know he's a little bit of a polarizing player, but he again, another rookie that we could see a little bit of improvement on there. I think he could end up being a high efficiency player. So Pittman goes, we'll take Keon Coleman. So again, for the audio listeners, now we've got a 0-4-4-0 team. We still don't have a quarterback or tight end. Our quarterback options, Penix is going to be a priority on this team. And beyond that, it looks like we're going to have to come up with some kind of back stack. All right, ATX Bearcat has 19%. Devonta Smith, highest wide receiver percentage. That's an interesting one. I like that. I think I'm actually lower on Devonta than I should be. I for some reason keep not taking him if I don't have Hurts, and that's probably bad. So that's one that I have kind of unintentionally been fading. Bad comp. Shaheed actually does spike. Oh my God. Dirty P. He says Zay Flowers and Jacoby Myers not far behind. I don't have very much Jacoby Myers. So ATX Bearcat, hopefully one of us does well this season, because I think we kind of have a yin and yang of player exposures. Dirty P, if the Chiefs win, I lose. Well, I don't want you to lose, but maybe Worthy takes me to the finals, and then we both win with someone we're both in on in week 17, unless it's Rice, who I have almost none of. I am the K. Well, I guaranteed 6 weeks of wide receiver 1 from a wide receiver 2. I'll take any name on the jersey. Yeah, I mean that's certainly another thing. Is he's gonna be the wide receiver 1 for some portion of the season, and he might be the wide receiver 1 even when Rashee Rice is back. I don't know. I think it's a scary fade. The Warren rise is getting a little nuts. Yeah, the Jalen Warren stuff, I can't. I just don't take him. He's too expensive. Why would I take him over Mark Andrews? That doesn't make any sense. Mark Andrews is objectively a better pick, and I can't do it. I don't care if I end up with 0 Warren. Rookie tight ends don't always pan out. I'm just, if that's what beats me, then the season kind of sucks. If I get beat by a rookie tight end there with Daniel Jones as quarterback, I'm just struggling to see that there. Mark Andrews goes to the Brock Bowers drafter, which is our friend Mr. Worth. So he goes kind of double elite tight end. Very interesting start from Mr. Worth. Something I tend to do more in 20-round drafts, but I don't hate it. I really don't. My one big board finals team was a double elite tight end team. So I'm double elite tight end curious, but it's just harder for me at this point in the draft season to get there. All right. Let's see what is coming around to us. Darnell Mooney makes a little bit of sense if we are going to take Penix later. I do kind of want to get a quarterback. Don't know who that's going to be. I also need a tight end. I think my preference is going to be to take Tucker Kraft here, and then potentially take Jordan Love with him, and do a Lovecraft stack. Although that could be a little more aggressive than we need to get. I'm also fine not getting Love on this team. Again, if Mooney is actually healthy, then maybe he makes the most sense. Christian Kirk I like quite a bit. Let's push quarterback. Let's take Kirk. let's take Kirk and get up to five receivers so that we're not like truly thin on this one. And who knows, maybe Love comes back to us. Probably not though. I mean, there's enough pieces with, especially, Mr. Worth has Golden, so Love might be a priority for him. You've got the redrafter lurking out there. I guess he's to my right, so if he wanted Love, he would have taken him there. But we'll see what comes back to us. We will see what comes back to us. If we don't get Love, it's we have quite a few options still at this point. All right, Hulk Smashed Potatoes, GM to you. Thanks so much for coming in and hanging out. Andrews was following yesterday. Yeah, I don't know why Andrews falls. Like, we should be taking him. Like, meant Tyler Warren, but both apply. Yeah, no, I knew. I think I was talking about Tyler Warren as well. I think his is crazy. Dirty P says, risers never rise enough, fallers never fall enough, so they say. But what do I know? I'm just a slappy drafter, baby. Well, maybe you're right about Warren not rising enough, but there hasn't. I feel like that applies when there's like a change in circumstance or news, and I just don't know that that's happened that much with Warren. Maybe the preseason usage counts. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. It could be what kills me here. Dirty P says, if Worthy was a 6-7 pick, I'd take him. I have a lot, so long as Golden, Igbuka, Pearsall or off the board. I just don't feel like those guys are in the same tier as Worthy. But again, who am I to disagree? I think Cher said that. Hulk Smashed Potatoes, HP Lovecraft stack. Well, we'll see. I mean, it's Lovecraft macaroni and cheese, as they say, and maybe we can get that. But otherwise, I think if we don't take Penix at this turn, we are making a grave error. Darnell Mooney is still on the board, so depending on what happens, we'll see about potentially taking Mooney and then Penix. Gonna be a tough call. I don't know why this Chai guy would take Penix. That wouldn't make any sense for him there. He also has 2 quarterbacks, so I'd be a little surprised if that happened. So Mooney goes. So that dream is gone. Of course, Cam Scadabo's coming and just like luring me like a siren's song here. All right, there goes Jordan Love. CJ Stroud is of course open to us with old Slot Demon on the team, so we could potentially try to take 2 quarterbacks. Brian Robinson goes. I don't want to take Scadabo. I have so much Scadabo. Somebody take him, please. Please, somebody take him. Are people going to take him? Joel says, I'll let you have Love. I'm already 20%. Well, I appreciate that. Please, everyone, if you're drafting with me, draft the guys you want. Don't worry about my stuff. I will figure it out. All right, Maximil. Does Maximil take Scadabo? He doesn't take Scadabo. I'm not passing on him. I think this is too good. And now I can end this team at 5 running backs here with Kamara, Hampton, Pacheco, Mason, and Scadabo. So this is going to be a 5 running back team, and we're going to have to backstack somebody. But I simply will not pass on him there. It's just not how we operate. I think Penix is more important to this team than is Stroud. That way we can get Drake London stacked up. So for the audio listeners, we've got a 1-5-5-1 with Penix, Hampton, Kamara, Pacheco, Mason, and Scadabo. Neighbors, London, Worthy, Coleman, Kirk, and then Tucker, Kraft at tight end. And we've got breaking news, people. Who Hames says the Thielen trade being finalized. And ATX Bearcat says, Emmanuel Wilson is a smash. Okay, there's, I don't have Twitter up, so I don't see how these 2 sentences relate unless it involved a running back going to Carolina from Green Bay. I'm missing something. I thought Thielen was going to go to Minnesota. I need more information. Oops, Joel, I already brought that up. Apologies. So somebody let me know what to think. I had to close all my windows when my camera was stuttering. Dave, hey, first of all, Dave, thanks for coming in. Lurkers number 1, unless you just happen to pop in here at the right moment. Dave, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Trade summary per rap sheet. Vikings get Adam Thielen, conditional, a whole bunch of picks. a whole bunch of picks were swapped, it sounds like, but essentially it looks like basically a 4th round pick kind of nets out for Thielen, and then some pick swap. Not sure they're connected. Okay. All right. Hey, Dave, thanks for pulling that up. All right. So, that has to be good news for some of the Jalen Cokers of the world, maybe even Lee Get. Probably very bad for your Nailers. Obviously Ty Felton is dead. So interesting stuff. I wonder, does that impact what I think about Thielen? Probably like Thielen a little more, although I don't know. I'm very interested to see where that goes. So Wilson, the number 2 in Green Bay. Yeah, man, Marshawn Lloyd. What I feel how the Dennis Allen felt about Kendre Miller when Kendre Miller kept getting hurt and he was finally healthy and Dennis Allen was getting fired and he put him on IR anyway because he was just so sick of him. That's how I feel about Marshawn Lloyd. Like, if I could put him on IR when he's back, I would do it. Cokehead skiing heavy now. Yeah, Al Boogie, this is huge for the Cokeheads of the world. Dirty P says, I am really sorry I don't have more Worthy, but I think it's a bad price. As a C fan who's tired of seeing the KC office sputter, I dare them to beat me. Hey, Dirty P, I get it. When you've got a player take like that, then you have to make your exposures your own. That is one thing I've learned, is that if you let someone talk you into a player and they're not good, you're going to be so annoyed with yourself. Like, don't let anybody ever do that to you. You've got to make your player takes your own. So if you're out on Worthy, then more power to you. Like, I hear you. Wow, we get Stroud all the way back around. That's pretty sweet. Let's take Stroud and move on. I think that's pretty good. So does that mean we take Lee Get here? I do need another tight end, and there's a couple good options. Ollie Gordon's still here. I said I was going to stop at 5, but man, Ollie Gordon is really tempting. I don't know, guys. Dylan Sampson's here too. Why are all the running backs so good? You know what? Let's do it. Let's live a little. Let's take Ollie Gordon. Why not? Let's do another 3-6-6-3. I like Neighbors, London, Worthy, Coleman, Kirk. We can stop at 6 here. So we'll do that. Maybe should we have taken another quarterback? Perhaps. But I think I'm good attempting this here. And Ollie Gordon's a really fun pick. Dylan Sampson maybe makes a little bit more sense, but end of season, if Judkins is back, let's say Judkins plays the final 4 games of the year, that's probably pretty bad for Sampson. So I don't know. I've been varying it up. I like Sampson. I'm shocked he's still on the board here, but very different position here. All right. Let's see. Hulk Smashed Potato says, I thought Wilson was number 2, but some are saying it's Brooks. That was the thing. I'm a little confused at who the number 2 is, but it sounded like there was some breaking news coming in. Joel says, finally a JJ McCarthy backstack. Yeah, that is true. Because I was backstacking him with the wrong people early in the cycle here. Huhaim says, I have a bunch of Thielen, but also Coker. That's a good feeling. Panthers weren't moving him without a 4th. I didn't know that was the hang up. Huhaim says also 37% in Coker in the first quarter. Nice. That exposure is looking good. ATX Bearcat Lloyd costing me so much money. Many such cases, ATX Bearcat. Many such cases. Thielen rise already happening. I could see that here. Did you just take him here? I don't know. I'll pull up. I don't have the board up so people can see what's going on. Let's see. J-Dubs, did you? Oh, you didn't take him. Okay. No, Thielen went at 152. So, yeah, I was never going to get him. I needed Penix and Stroud with those picks. Really surprised that Stroud came to me. That's pretty sweet. Dirty P, I think that Kansas City doesn't want to score a lot of points. They like close games as practice for the... I don't know about that, Dirty P. I can't imagine that's the... I imagine they would rather blow teams out so they could rest players than intentionally keep games close. I think that's a little bit galaxy brained in my opinion, but Andy Reid's a lot smarter than me, so he could have a galaxy brain take like that. The Thieves hide. Well, certainly the Chiefs do save stuff for the playoffs. I don't think that's in dispute, but I don't think they intentionally want the games close. Dirty P as I think at the embarrassing Super Bowl, they want to fire on all cylinders all season. That's more the tack that I'm taking. Who Hames? Joel says Brooks also basically a fullback. LaFleur loves his blocking. Yeah, we might be a little more a little more hand in the dirt on that than I know. As far as the play styles of the backup. Hold on, I just got to take Jalen Coker now, right? Like if we're gonna draft when news breaks and we don't take like Jalen Coker, then why are we even engaged in this pursuit? I have to say. So let's take Jalen Coker there. And I like me some Cade Otton. I think that would be kind of a fun second tight end with Tucker Kraft. Harold Fannin goes. He's probably a little more fun than Cade Otton, but I think Cade Otton is a little more mature of a pick. So let's get Cade Otton into the team. So for the audio listeners, we've got Penix and Stroud, running back room of Hampton, Kamara, Pacheco, Mason, Scatabo, and Ollie Gordon. Wide receiver room of Neighbors, London, Worthy, Coleman, Kirk, and Coker. And then Tucker Kraft and Cade Otton in at tight end. Like the way this team has come together so far. I think it makes a pretty good amount of sense. If we have to stop with just Ward and Stroud, I don't think that's the end of the world. It's a little thin, but we'll see if we can maybe add someone later or maybe not. All right. Who Aim says Thielen has always been 15 to 20 picks later on Underdog and Drafters DK. Generally think the one site that's off from the other two is wrong. Yeah, well, I know Steve Schaup has famously been big on Thielen, so I think these are probably good for his bags. Although if he was trying to stack Thielen, he might have gotten the wrong stack. But I think overall probably positive for Thielen. At Who Aims, it's going to depend on how well Simmons plays. If Mahomes doesn't get better pass pro, we're just doing more of the same. Who Aims agrees, but he's looked fantastic. Who Aims thinks the news is bullish for Leggett. I think so too. I mean, I think anything that makes the field a little less crowded there is pretty good in my opinion there. Dirty P says, if you think the Chiefs are running their best plays in the regular season, you've not been watching. Who Aims agrees, and I do too. I think that is I think that's 100%. Jackson Dart went at 188. I probably should have just taken him there at 182. I think I may have overthought that just a hair, because this team probably is more of a 3 QB team than a 2 QB team. But you know what? We'll see. We'll see what we can get together, especially with having Neighbors. I really probably should have passed on Otton. There's enough late tight ends to where that might have been a mistake by me. I just want to get more Cade Otton. I think he's at the very least going to have some strong early season production, and he's has shown he's capable of some not insignificant spike weeks. All right, Who Hames says also very big for JT Sanders. Yeah, JT Sanders is a guy that I do mix in late, so I like him there as well. Probably somewhat bullish for him. Let's look. So we need one more tight end and then one more of something else. I was hoping to close this with Dart and Dio Johnson. That's not going to happen. Probably take one more tight end, but we'll see. We'll see what the room is willing to give us. Alec Pierce, A.D. Mitchell, if we want pieces of the Colts, is there. We got 3 people who only have 2 quarterbacks. This guy has Baker and Dak. This guy has Daniels and Ward. So it's possible neither of them take a quarterback if they're more of a 2 QB mindset. Now, one of them takes Amari Cooper, who, of course, has entered the realm of draftability. All right, we're going to take Danny Dimes. I think he's starting, and then we're going to do a Dimes A.D. Mitchell stack to get us out of here. Oh, wait. No, we're not. I need a tight end. I don't want to end with 2. Arg. Well, we're going to have naked Danny. We're going to have naked Danny Dimes. And we're going to take Juwan Johnson. Oops. We got a little ahead of ourselves there, but let's take Juwan Johnson. I think that's a little better on this team than AD Mitchell. With Kraft and Otten, I think we want to take one more tight end to get us out of here. So that'll wrap it. That will wrap this team with naked Daniel Jones at the end. I really should have taken Jackson Dart. This team would probably be feeling a whole lot better if we had Dart instead of Cade Otton. But you never know. You never know. Cade Otton could be what you need to take down this contest. So we've got a 3-6-6-3 with Penix, Stroud, and Daniel Jones, Omarion Hampton, Alvin Kamara, Isaiah Pacheco, Jordan Mason, Cam Scatabo, and Ollie Gordon, Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Xavier Worthy, Keon Coleman, Christian Kirk, and Jalen Coker, and then Tucker Kraft, Cade Otton, and Johnson. Again, with Neighbors and Scatabo, it was definitely should have gotten some Dart in our lives, but who knows? Maybe Daniel Jones can help us early in the season, get us through as an advance rate piece before the other guys bring us home. Huham says, also thought when Renfro released, it was a no on the Thielen trade. Yeah, I thought that might have been the case too, but seems like it's, again, Coker and Coker Leggett, pretty big for them. Sharath says, what's the best ball DGen view on Dime starting week 17? Sharath, I would be shocked if he's starting week 17. But, I mean, if he's playing well and they're competitive, he definitely could play the whole season. I feel like they just are out on A-Rich. Like, I could see him not being on the team in week 17, truthfully. Like, he might be annoying to the point where the team thinks he's more of a headache to keep around. The fan base, the minute Danny Dimes does anything, they're going to be clamoring for A-Rich, and they may just know A-Rich just can't get it done. So I don't know. I would put the odds at like 25% that Danny Dimes is starting week 17, but I don't think it's a stone zero. But anyway, everyone, thank you so much for coming in and hanging out this morning. I really appreciate it. If you can, on your way out, hit the like, hit the sub. We're on the road to 200. It's been so fun. We're going to do this tomorrow, and when we do, it's going to be 1 week left before football season. I can't believe it. It's been such a fun summer. It's been so much fun building this channel and this morning community with you all. So everyone, thanks again, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care, everyone.